Hi, this is Camille from My Junk Journal Heaven. I wanted to show you something that I've kind of made up. I imagine it's been done before because I don't think anything's actually never been done before. It was kind of, I've seen somebody do a fold like this, and Kathy from Kathy's garden was doing something with doilies and coffee filters, and I thought about using envelopes, junk mail envelopes. So that's what I made this out of. And it has a pocket back here, and there's another pocket here. I think the next one I'll make that a little different maybe. And then you have a pocket kind of here in the front and one over here. So you actually have 4 pockets, and depending on how you put it down on your page, you could have a 5th pocket here or a tuck spot here. So anyway, I thought I'd show you how I made one. And the first thing I'm going to do is glue down the envelope flaps. They don't need to be up. The reason I'm using the envelopes is because I like things to be a little bit heavier. And actually, I could probably get by with one envelope split in half to make this, but it's okay. And also, I use a little bit heavier copier paper, and right now I have thinner copier paper, but my copier is misbehaving again. I don't know. When I talked to the guy the other day, we got it working, and he said something about it was probably because I changed my internet. I upgraded the internet, and he said that was probably it, and I needed a split or something like that. I don't know. I'm not technical that way, so I'm not worried about it right now. So what I did with this one was I took one envelope and folded it. And which one's the longest? Okay. How do I want to do this? Okay, I'm going to do it this way. Actually, I think I'll cut some of this off. That's the long one. So, yeah, I'll cut some of this off. Because I don't think it needs to be this tall here. That one was kind of my prototype, so I think I'll just cut this part off. And so it's about 3.5 inches. A little over 3.5. Actually, I think I'll just cut it down to 3. There's no reason for it to be that big. And I already glued it, but that's okay. It won't have a flap on it, so oops. Okay. Yeah, I think I like that better. Okay. And then this one's going to be folded up. To the top of that. So that's 3 inches. Maybe I can do it better if I just do it here. All right. And I think I'll put a little bit of glue in this just for the fun of it. And I don't think it matters if your envelope has windows in it or not, because I'm going to be covering those up. So how is everybody today? I hope your weather was nice and you're well and good. I'm having trouble with allergies, and I'm not real happy about that right now because I got to figure out how I did this for sure. Yes. Okay. Because I'm going to be flying later in the week, and I don't want to be sneezing and coughing while I'm flying. The people around you don't exactly appreciate that. Okay, that's a little bit off. We'll move it over just a little bit. And I should probably measure this, but I don't measure a lot of things, so yeah, that'll be all right, I think. Now, it does get a little bit bulky here, and it's going to get bulkier because I'm going to cover these, but let's go ahead and cover this one because my printer isn't doing what it ought to. I'm having to use paper that I already have, which isn't a problem really, because I have some nice papers, but I wanted to print some new ones, but that wasn't going to happen. Let's see. I need to mark this and then cut it. And I wrapped it around the back on this one, and I don't think I'm going to do that. It won't be as bulky if I don't wrap it around. Sometimes you learn as you go. And I can always trim off some if it's too big. But you can't add on if you cut it too small. So and what I want to do is glue it. The inside of it won't be seen, so I'm going to glue it here. And then actually I'll glue this part here, part way down, and then I'll take the bottom part of it and glue it to this front flap. So, and I'm going to use my art glitter glue for this. Oh, I gotta glue my mat. That works well. All right, and I should have a wipe here somewhere. There's one. Okay. And I said I was going to glue the top part of this. Yeah, that's the top. Oops. Oops, oops, oops. Come on. Don't go on there crooked. You know, maybe I should glue a little bit over the top on this, which means I'm probably going to have to re-glue it. We'll see. Aren't those lilacs beautiful? I love lilacs. I love their smell. I love the way they look. Of course, I like purple anyway, but all right. Yes, that's going to work. Okay. Now I am going to fold this over up here at the top. That'll cover the top of this so it doesn't show yellow. On the sides I'll ink. And then I'll trim it down. I just spent probably an hour talking to one of my granddaughter-in-laws. I have 21 grandchildren, and this is one of the ones that's married wife. They have 3 children. I just spent some time talking to her because I hope to see them this next week, sometime during the week. And she's a sweet girl, a very sweet girl. I enjoy talking to her. All right, now we'll cover this bottom part. And it looks like I just barely cut enough there. Ooh, just barely. Matter of fact, I may need to trim a little bit off of that, just to make sure I have enough to cover it. Just a sliver. I don't want that bright yellow peeking out with purples and blues. All right. That's better. Oh, and look, it almost looks like it matches there, even though it didn't. That's nice. That's nice. I might not have had to trim any off. Well, that's okay. Better safe than sorry. Wish these junk mail envelopes came in pretty pastel colors or something. They're either white, the ones I get are bright yellow, or red. Sometimes I get red ones. And don't you love the ones you get that say, this is your last chance. We've told you 3 or 4 times that this is your last chance. This is it. And they're trying to sell you something. My thing is always, I think, I don't care. I didn't want to buy it the first time you sent it to me. I don't care if this is my last chance or last warning. That's the one that I think is interesting. It comes into your mailbox and says final notice or something. I wonder what the mailman thinks of that. They probably get it too, though, so they know. They know it's bunk. At least I hope they do. All right. Got that trimmed off. So that'll fold up like that. And cover this inside part. Well, not quite, because I cut that down. Oh. Well, that's weird. That should be even across there. Well, it looks like I need to trim it again to make it even, because that definitely is not the same size. I don't know how that happens with a trimmer, but it does. And this trimmer, I'm not even going to mess with this one because it'll probably tear it. And the other one isn't quite long enough, but it will work. Get that fold over there. So they're even on the bottom, which is the only place I care that they're even. Get it all lined up there. 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 Now it's even. And it's still glued. Good. Okay. Now this is going to go in here. And I don't really think that needs... Let's see, what did I do here? I had a little bit of trim on that back one, but I don't think it needs to be maybe a little piece so that when I cut the flap in it, or the little hole, it doesn't. I'll just put a little piece down here so it doesn't show where I cut it. All right. Let's see if I can tear this. It might be harder than getting out the paper cutter, but I don't like the way that looks, but I'll trim it off here. Do it the right way to start with. If you don't want the torn edge, then don't tear it. Make sure it's all lined up. Okay. Anyway, they've been this granddaughter-in-law we talked a few months ago, and they wanted to ask some questions about family and stories about relatives and so forth, so we were talking about that tonight. Also how I can share stories with them. And I'm glad they want to do that kind of thing, because a lot of young kids don't care about that, about their family history. And I think I've always been fascinated with family history. My ancestors and the things they did and the places they lived. And my husband's ancestors had some interesting stories. So that's always fun for the kids to find out. The first Macintosh that came over in his line, I'm sure there were some that came before that, came over during the Revolutionary War. Excuse me. And being Scottish, I'm sure that the British went into Scotland and said, you, and you're going to war with us, whether you want to or not, because that's the kind of thing they did. They did it to their own people too, to their poorer people, but I know they did it to the Scots. Anyway, the guy came over and got captured by the Americans. And he ended up with a doctor. I don't remember his name, but the doctor had him work with him, kept him with him during the rest of the war and worked with him. And after the war, he traveled west with Daniel Boone, which I think is real interesting. And then he ended up in Illinois at some point and was a mayor or something. So that's kind of an interesting story for kids to learn about their family, especially if they know anything about Daniel Boone. But then, when I was a kid, there were TV shows with Daniel Boone, or about Daniel Boone, and I don't think they do those anymore. What have I done wrong here? I've done something cockeyed. Okay, this goes in here. Hello. All right. Now I'll need to cover the front and a little bit of the sides of these. And I can't decide which paper I want to use for it. I don't know if I want these as busy as they are, actually, I might have enough of this to do it. Let's see what we can do here, because it also has to be covered on the inside. Where it folds back. Now, get my pencil and mark it. And that is, oh, it's over the middle. Doggone. Well, I guess I won't use that then. So, it looks like this is the one I'm going to use. And I don't want to cover the whole back of this, because it just ends up being a problem. I also don't want to get into the folds. All right, I guess I'll put the glue on this front part and glue that down, and then I'll glue some onto the back of it. What's sad about people like this, like the Macintosh that came over, his name was John Ogg Macintosh. And the sad thing is, you know, you're coming to a foreign country to fight and ended up staying, but at the time, they were having problems in Scotland with the British anyway. And they were also starving because they just had a big war with the British, and the British had destroyed a lot of their land, so they might have been happy to come over. I think that's going to need to be a little bit closer. I don't know. Somewhere where they could be free and get some land and not have the British. Well, and also that was not too long after Culloden, and they weren't allowed to wear their tartans or anything. No Scottish kilts or plaids. They weren't allowed to have any of that. Now, let's see. Do I want it to go this way? Actually, I think I do. Because then when it folds down, it might be the right way. All right. This is probably a little more complicated than what it ought to be, but I think it's going to work just fine. Try not to get as much bulk, but I'll probably have that anyway. And I'm going to clip this here because I am going to fold this bottom one in and glue it down so it doesn't show through. And then this one, I guess I could fold that in. No, I'm not gonna even try that. That's too much. I'll end up with it the wrong size or something if I fold it in. I just like that side to be covered where the envelope is. And then I'll trim it down. If the history of Scotland interests you at all, there's a lot of it on the internet, and my daughter has a site on YouTube where she does Clanhattan, which I've mentioned before, but she also has a lot of people that talk about the history of Scotland, the battle in Culloden and different things like that. That battle was a slaughter by the British. It was really a sad thing. And kind of foolish, because they were fighting for a prince who was kind of a fool in a way, and wouldn't have been a good ruler, but they didn't want to be ruled by the British, so and yet now they've had it on their ballot a couple of times to break off from Great Britain, and they haven't done it, so I don't know. Who knows? They're good people, though. There are a lot of nice people in Scotland. Okay. I don't want that to be in the hinge too much. And that's not even on the bottom, so it's not gonna work that well. I'd rather trim it off than have it not be enough. Okay, that works. And now this has to fold over here. Is that how I did that one? No, I folded it down. Okay. I'll fold this one down here and get it glued. I'm going to cut this off. I'm going to make sure I don't cut it too narrow. Oh, I wasn't going to do that first. I was going to tuck that one in. Okay. Maybe there'll be enough glue left to do it. Yes. All right. I'll just put some down on this part. The reason we know so much about this John Og Mackintosh is somebody did a lot of research on it and wrote a little, it's not a book, it's a little booklet, but there's a booklet around about him. And his adventures, which are very interesting. Then my husband's family, his parents or his grandparents ended up in Texas, outside of Waco. My father-in-law went to school. I can't remember the name of the town. Tanglewood, Texas, I think. That always reminded me of Tumbleweed, and I know that's not it, but anyway, when he would go every now and then to a school reunion, not a class reunion, a school reunion, because I think the little school had 2 rooms in it, and everybody was in one of the 2 rooms. And I imagine they probably aren't having very many reunions anymore because the little town's not there. But they were having the reunions in Waco. My husband went with my father-in-law one year. He was getting a little too old to travel by himself. My husband flew from California to Waco with him to go to the reunion. And a couple of his sisters, my father-in-law's sisters, were there. My husband didn't have any sisters, but they would go to it too. Almost like a one-room schoolhouse. Okay. This definitely needs inking. And before I ink it, I am going to put these 2 things together. I don't know why I need to cut a notch in both of them. I don't think I will. I think I'll just cut a notch in the top one. Whoops. Not that. Where's my hole punch? There it is. My circle punch. I think I'll only put a hole in the top one because otherwise they're going to be in the exact same spot. Well, I could... Nah, you won't see the back one. I'll just put one little notch. And it's not centered. Oh well. They're called junk journals for a reason. If they were perfect, they wouldn't be junk journals. They would be fancy, beautiful journals. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't think they're nearly as much fun. If you have to be precise, I may try and make a real pretty one time. Just have it elegant and pretty with lace and pearls and all matchy stuff. I don't know, we'll see. I've started out kind of doing that. I have one that's Jane Austen, and I kind of started out with that just being Jane Austen, and it's got a lot of stuff added to it, so it's not just Jane Austen either. Oh, I don't like the way that looks. There. A little down on this end. And over here, got a lot of white showing. Don't like that. I always liked reading Jane Austen's books. I really like Pride and Prejudice. Oh boy. I'm going to have to glue that again. Well, I will do that. And the movies that have come from it. I like the one from A&E that was multiple weeks of it. I really liked that one. Can't think of the names of the people that were in it, but it was really good. My husband and I watched that multiple times. All right. Now this needs to be glued down along here. And I trimmed off a piece there that I shouldn't have trimmed off, but I think I'll put some tape on it, yeah, I can't even say the name of it. And I have boxes and boxes of it, and I can put some along the edge there that'll be okay with that. All right, that's glued down, that's glued down. These are folded over, and I'm going to glue the bottoms of these. Washi tape, that's what I'm going to put on it. Oh my goodness. It's bad when you lose your words. I'd say it was getting old, but I've been doing it for a long time, long before I got as old as I am now, so I can't say it's because I'm getting old. Although that might be a factor now. I guess I could blame it on that now. I'm going to put some glue right there. Hold that down for a minute. Oops. And it's oozing out. Get myself glued to everything. Some along the bottom here. And I don't know why that's not matching. I measured that and measured it. You saw me measure it, and it's not matching. Why is it not matching up? Something got crooked. Well, too late now. That's going to get trimmed and washi taped too. Just trim off a little bit there, and then I'll washi tape it. Put some pretty tape across the bottom. I've got some flowered washi tape. Not in here. I'll have to get it out of the other room, and I'll do that after the video. I should probably have it in here with me. Oh, and I didn't glue this up all the way. Or this one all the way up, and I didn't hold that one down long enough. All right. There we go. And I'm going to put the same things in it that I put in the other one because they're here. That one does not want to stay down. And there's something blocking this. Well, I don't know what's blocking it. Didn't feel like anything down there. There. It didn't want to go in. Now this one's a little bit wider than the other one, I think. But that's okay. You put your cards, whatever, down there. You could make it a flip-flop and cover the back of this with something you could write on, make it a flip out. That would work too. Boy, I need more than one clip on this. There's another one. Does not want to hold it down. All right. There we go. This one, I don't know that I'd do any decoration on. This one, I might put a couple of things on it. Maybe a stamp and a number or something. Oh, that's plain labels. I don't want those. Where are my numbers? might be okay there. Or what about that? That's a little bit better. I think it matches the color a little more. Not that I want it matchy-matchy, but it's got a little bit of blue in it. Maybe the blue one would be okay. All right. Well, I guess I'll decorate this one too. We'll do them at the same time. Not that this one needs much. It's kind of busy, but maybe something here and there. And this definitely needs to be trimmed down. Get my box over here. And ink up the white. Do I want it here or here? I don't think it matters. And what else am I going to put on there? Let's see, what else do I have down here that I could put on there? I have all these little stickers. I wonder if any of those would look good on there. Let's see what I have, because they're not all the same, I don't think. Oh, those are kind of fun. I don't know what exactly it all is. I see a sextant there. I see a bottle. Let's put the bottle under the number. Maybe. Maybe. Put the number more over this way. Okay. And then, do I want something down here on the bottom? I kind of like this telescope and things here. Well, if I can get it off. These are definitely washy. I don't know whether it's going to fit down here. Yes, it will. Yay. All right. That looks kind of good with that paper there. I wish this was a smaller number. Actually, I think I'll just cut it down some more. It's a little bit too big. And I don't have any smaller blue ones. But they can always be cut down. All right. Yeah, I like that a little better. It's not quite as big. I don't know whether I need anything else on there or not. I don't want to overdo it. Might be nice to have something on there, but I don't know what yet. Let's see here. Well, this one looks like travel stuff. Okay. there's something on this one that might go with it. I don't know. I really don't know what all this stuff is. Oh, this is some tools type things to draw with. Drawing tools. I could put that over here. There. Those are tools I used to do journals with. Circles, calipers, or whatever. Calipers. Calipers. Okay. Now let me see what I want to do with this other one. Hopefully it's stuck now. I take these off. And there's so many flowers on this. I don't think I need flowers on it. But, of course, I have butterflies. That butterfly looks good with that. And maybe one up there and one down here. And then I'll get a phrase or something to go on there. A word, a phrase, something. Challenge yourself. That's stark white, though. Well, you know, I can always grunge it up a little bit so it's not quite so white. And I think I'll put that right here. I am not happy with the bottom of this, how it worked out. I'm going to have to cut it and put some washi on it or something. But for right now, it's just going to be the way it is. Oh, I know what I could do with it. Haha. I don't have to get washi. I can put lace across there. Oh, come on, butterfly. Come open. There we go. Whoops, and the other one stuck to my finger. Now this one I was going to put up here because it's kind of lavenderish. And it'll go with those beautiful lilacs. And this one will go down here with these. Okay, now I am going to put lace on this. That'll cover that up. I won't have to worry about it. And if you don't tell anybody, I won't tell anybody. We'll be good. Look at that. It just covers up the mistake beautifully. I think when you do anything like this, there's always a way to cover up problems and mistakes. Unless it's just so hopeless. But usually there's a way to fix it. And so I'm fixing it. Get my fabric pack out here. come on. I guess I could have trimmed it off before I did that, but that can fold back there. Trim some of the uneven off. All right. I think that'll be okay. And I'll put this down here. I like lace in my journals anyway. And I think I'll just wrap it around the back. And over here and here. Okay. There's probably an easier way to make these that didn't require envelopes and all this stuff, but I used up envelopes. Do I want to put anything else on here? I could put some lace somewhere else, but I don't think I want to. All right. So we have these two multi-pocket pieces to put in our junk journals. And I will probably be making more of them because I find when I start making the journals, I don't have enough ephemera to go in them. I have to start making ephemera. So there they are. This one I think looks more masculine, so I'm not going to put lace on that. And they're different sizes. They can be totally different. All right. This is Camille at My Junk Journal Heaven. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and leave any comments that you'd like. Just remember to keep it nice and polite. And I'll see you again soon.